Hello, my name is Dr. Byron McCook, and I am an affiliate faculty member here at St. Joseph's University and a facilitator for this online presentation entitled Teacher Effectiveness and Data Collection. Joining me in this presentation is Dr. Carole Hoy. Dr. Hoy is also an affiliate faculty member here at St. Joseph's University and principal of Bridgeport Elementary School in the Upper Merion School District, and she will discuss teacher effectiveness and data collection from the school principal's perspective. Joining us also is Mrs. Margaret Wright, a 6th grade teacher and team leader in the Springford School District and a member of IDEPEL Cohort 8, who will discuss this topic from a teacher's perspective. And finally, Mr. Anthony.Rybarczyk, Director of Elementary Education at the Radnor Township School District and member of IDEPEL Cohort 9, who will discuss this topic as it relates to his dissertation research. Under the previous system implemented under No Child Left Behind, the Pennsylvania Department of Education collected data on individual students that consisted of achievement data derived from PSSA test scores, student demographic data to measure achievement within categories of students such as gender, race, economic status, and migrant status, and program participation data such as special education and English language learners. All of this data converged to measure adequate yearly progress, or AYP. Here, the measure of student achievement was related strictly to student performance on high-stakes tests. Today, we see a significant shift from the previous model of measuring achievement under AYP to measuring overall school performance utilizing multiple measures. The Pennsylvania Information Management System, or PIMS, has been developed over the last 9 years to initially collect student-level data. Within the last few years, the system has been expanded to include data on classroom teachers, linking them to the students they teach as a measure of teacher effectiveness, along with previous NCLB measures to converge on calculating the new school performance profiles. PIMS has been expanded to provide LEAs with multiple tools to aid in data reporting, beginning with the PIMS Sandbox, which is a mirror of the live PIMS production site that allows LEAs to submit the multiple data templates required for reporting in a test environment so that LEAs can generate reports and see the outcome of the data that is going to be reported, correct any mistakes, and resubmit as many times as needed to be comfortable with the quality of the data that will eventually be submitted in the live production site. When data is submitted in the live production site, this data must be accurate, and seldom will PDE permit changes after it is submitted. PDE has included tools to assist LEAs in measuring student achievement, such as the Standards Aligned System Education Value Added Assessment System, or SAS-EVAS, which contains significant data that is used in reporting school and student achievement. The Early Warning Dashboard System, just released in March of 2015, that is designed to assist schools with identifying students who show signs of needing support or interventions, and the new Pennsylvania Educator Effectiveness Reporting System that may be used by school administrators to create and submit the annual teacher evaluations under Act 82. Finally, all of this data, including Keystone exams, PVAS results, highly qualified teacher data, and other PIMS-related data, leads to the creation of the school performance profiles. Next will be Dr. Carole Hoy, who will discuss teacher effectiveness and data collection from a school principal's perspective.
As many of you know, beginning with the 2013-14 school year, the Pennsylvania Department of Education implemented a new educator effectiveness system for rating educational professionals. This rating system is a result of the adoption of Title 22 of the Pennsylvania Code, Chapter 19. The rating tool contains 4 areas: teacher observation and practice, building level data, teacher-specific data, and elective data. In the 2014-15 year, the Principal Effectiveness Rating Tool was implemented. This rating tool also contains 4 areas: observation and practice, building level data, correlation data and relationships, and elective data, which aligns closely with the teacher effectiveness rating. Each of the areas of teacher rating account for a percentage of the overall rating. Teacher observation and practice, which utilizes the 4 domains of the Danielson framework and accounts for 50% of the teacher rating. Building level data accounts for 15% of the teacher rating. Teacher-specific data accounts for 15% of the teacher rating, and elective data accounts for 20% of the teacher rating. The 4 areas of the principal effectiveness rating system also account for a percentage of the overall principal rating. This system aligns with the teacher effectiveness system as measuring educator effectiveness. The area of observation and practice account for 50% of the rating. Building level data accounts for 15% of the rating. Correlation data and relationship, which is based on teacher level measures, accounts for 15% of the rating, and elective data accounts for 20% of the rating. Reviewing the overall information for educator effectiveness ratings lays the foundation for understanding building level data and how it fits into educator effectiveness rating systems. I will focus my discussion on the building level data, specifically the School Performance Profile or SPP information. An SPP score can range from 0 to 107. As you can see, although the building level data or the SPP score represents 15% of the overall educator ratings, 15% of the actual SPP score is based on 3 areas. The first area, indicators of academic achievement, is based on performance on PSSAs or Keystone exams, grade 3 reading proficiency, and meeting SAT, ACT college-ready benchmarks. The second area, indicators of closing the achievement gap students, is based on how well a school is making progress towards proficiency for all students. The final area, indicators of closing the achievement gap for the historically underperforming students, is based on how well a school is making progress towards proficiency for our historically underperforming students. These students are comprised of our special education students, English language learners, and our economically disadvantaged students. Although a student may be included in more than one of these groups, they are only counted once within the historically underperforming group. 40% of the SPP score is comprised of indicators of academic growth. This information is based on the impact that schools have on the academic progress of students from year to year. This information is very detailed and can be found in several reports in the Pennsylvania Value Added Assessment System, or PVAS. We will discuss some of these reports in a few minutes. The final 10% that accounts for the SPP score is the area of other indicators. This includes graduation rate, performance rate, or promotion rate, and attendance rate. Advanced placement in International Baccalaureate or college credit, and PSAT plan participation. Finally, extra credit can be awarded for advanced achievement. This includes the percentage of students scoring in the advanced range for mathematics or Algebra 1, reading or literature, science or biology, and writing. For secondary schools, it can include the percentage of students scoring 3 or higher on any advanced placement exam or 4 or higher on any International Baccalaureate exam. And so, as a building level administrator, focusing on SPP scores and continuing to increase student achievement encourages data collection and analysis. To begin, accessing PVAS to review performance diagnostic reports, school performance diagnostic summary reports, and projected summary reports can uncover quite a bit of information. The school performance diagnostic summary reports will allow you to tell if groups of students within your school or a specific grade demonstrated evidence of academic growth. Bar charts and pie charts associated with these reports can show the magnitude of the growth as well as the proportion of students making growth. This can be disaggregated for groups of students as well as using an all students feature. Please note that there must be 5 students or more represented in each group for a report to be available. The School Performance Diagnostic Summary Report will show the level of evidence that students met the expected growth. The Projected Summary Report shows how students are expected to perform on future standardized assessments based on their testing history if nothing changes, such as curricular programs, instructional practices, or targeted interventions or supports. The Teacher Value Added Summary Report will assess academic growth of each individual teacher's students, assisting with the possibility of targeted professional development, interrogating instructional practices, and possibly uncovering what teachers can specifically influence. These reports are best reviewed with the teachers. Teachers are encouraged to review the data and reflect on their practices. A side note, once teachers have 3 consecutive years of teaching any tested grade level, they will receive a rolling 3-year average. In conclusion, in addition to specific PVAS reports, I encourage building-level administrators to review performance on research-based program assessments, participate in school or building-level data meetings, and progress monitoring. I also recommend looking at data information regarding whole groups of students as well as disaggregated groups. I recommend spending time working with teachers to review specific PVAS reports, include all building faculty in the conversation, not just those teachers in the tested grade levels. But remember, everyone is affected by building SPP scores. Working with teachers through the educator effectiveness process, specifically the Danielson framework, allows the process to be very meaningful. Remember to use data included in district student information systems or data warehouses such as attendance data and discipline data. Faculty meeting time can be used for data review and discussions regarding curricular decisions and instructional practices. Finally, be careful not to get lost in the data. However, data can be useful when making well-informed decisions for improving student achievement. Now, Ms. Margaret Wright will continue the discussion of teacher ratings in addition to student learning objectives.
There are 4 kinds of data that comprise the new teacher evaluation system: observational data, building level data, teacher-specific data, and elective data. I will be addressing observational data and elective data. 50% of a teacher's annual rating is comprised of observational data based on the Charlotte-Danielson framework. This observational data can be obtained through formal classroom observations with an administrator and includes specific components, that of a pre-observational conference, an observational conference, and a post-observational conference. The Pennsylvania Department of Education also allows for differentiated supervision models as a means of collecting observational data. It is at the discretion of the school district leaders to determine if they will use differentiated supervision and, if so, what method. But the models must be pre-approved by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. 3 common options include peer coaching, action research, and portfolio. When the observational data collection is completed, teachers receive a rating of distinguished, proficient, meets improvement, or failing. If a teacher receives a rating less than proficient, a performance improvement plan is enacted. 20% of a teacher's annual rating is elective data, comprised of student learning objectives. SLOs are annual academic goals for students that align with the standards and include a form of measurement. Ideally, teachers should be involved in creating the SLOs for their students. However, in this early stage of enacting the new teacher evaluation system, it is not uncommon for district leaders to assign the task to teacher leaders or a committee of teachers. Here are some things to consider when reflecting on the new teacher evaluation system and its impact on teachers. It is important for teachers to be aware that data are being collected on them and consider the implications of this. Also, skills needed to improve teacher effectiveness and to gain information on the evaluation system must be incorporated into a district's professional development. It is also important to note that the new teacher effectiveness system is not going away. Though the system continues to evolve and change, the state has invested considerable time and money into its development. As teachers, it benefits us to use this as an opportunity to grow and improve our skills. And as educators, we must remember our purpose for being in the classroom. We are responsible for creating an environment for students that does more than just meet the predetermined measurable goals set by the state. As Maxine Green said, the young are most likely to be stirred to learn when they are challenged by teachers who themselves are learning. I would now like to introduce Mr. Anthony.Rybarczyk, Director of Elementary Education at the Radnor Township School District and a member of IDEPEL Cohort 9.
Hello, my name is Anthony.Rybarczyk, and as Dr. McCook shared, my dissertation will be focusing on the new teacher evaluation model. I will be in particular looking at teachers' perceptions of the PDE Educator Effectiveness Evaluation Model and how it relates to teaching and learning based on student achievement and engagement. My overall research question focuses around public elementary teachers on whether or not the PDE Educator Effectiveness Evaluation Model improves teaching and learning. I'll also be exploring two sub-research questions. One being that what are the perceptions of public elementary teachers of whether the new PDE Educator Effectiveness Evaluation Model improves teaching as defined by Domain 3 and in the Danielson framework. Domain 3 focusing on instruction. And also sub-question 2, what are the perceptions of public elementary teachers on whether the new PDE Educator Effectiveness Evaluation Model improves student learning as defined by standardized student achievement and student engagement. I'll be using the PVOS and the PSSA scores to look at the achievement component, and I will be using the method of observation to measure student engagement in regards to learning within the classroom. When we look at the PDE Educator Effectiveness Evaluation Model and how it relates to teaching and learning, based on student achievement, the Educator Effectiveness Model was put into place as a more comprehensive approach in evaluating teachers and their teaching and learning that's occurring in the classroom. The necessity for elementary public teachers to become familiar with this framework and each of its domains, along with the components, is essential in guiding them for improvement in both the areas of teaching and learning. The mixed methodology approach will be used in my study. It'll be a big qualitative and a small quantitative approach. The qualitative being the surveys to the teachers, as well as the observation occurring within the classroom. The quantitative will be looking at the PSSA and PVOS data to determine if there is a correlation between improved teaching and learning and growth and achievement of the students. My data collection will be in 6 to 10 classrooms where observations will occur to measure student engagement. I'll be developing a tool that will maintain whether or not student engagement is occurring at the time of the lesson. I'll also be using surveys that will be distributed to the teachers, both a pre and a post to the observation, to get a better understanding of their perceptions of the Educator Effectiveness Model and their understanding of domain number 3. And I will be analyzing the 4th and 5th grade PSSA results and how it correlates. The potential contributions to from my study to public education will be determining the perceptions of teachers and their understanding of domain 3 as it is defined in the Danielson framework, and it relates to teaching and learning. I will also be using providing potential contributions in determining whether there's a correlation between student achievement and engagement for the elementary public teachers who have the perception that domain 3 of instruction helps to improve teaching and learning. I look forward to an opportunity of exploring these contributions further as I look to the other domains and components of the Danielson framework. Thank you.
To conclude our presentation, we leave you with the following guiding questions. On behalf of Dr. Carole Hoy, Mrs. Margaret Wright, and Mr. Anthony.Rybarczyk, I'm Dr. Byron McCook, and we thank you for viewing our presentation.